All right, great, guys. Well, we're going to get started. As I said, please use that raised hands feature, and I'll get to your questions. Just some quick background. I think everybody knows Jensen's story, but obviously over the week won the 2021 U.S. Women's Amateur, the first player in Kentucky women's golf history to win the prestigious events. Jensen did it in really impressive fashion. Just to make match play, she had to qualify in a 12-for-2 playoff and did it with teammate Marissa Wensler. And then in match play, beat some of the top players in the country, including Stanford's Rachel Heck, who was the 2021 NCAA champion, and then beat Vivian Hu in a 36-hole match on Sunday. And Vivian was the 2020 WGCA Freshman of the Year. So did all that while coming back from a rib injury that I'm sure some of you are interested in asking. So without further ado, we'll turn it over for questions. We'll start off with Larry Vaught. Go ahead, Larry.
Good morning, Jensen. Thanks for taking some time to do this. Two things. Just wondering, could you tell us, does the U.S. Amateur Champion not get any better work shifts at where you work than the 5:30 a.m.? And tell us a little bit about, could you not somehow wangle a better sleeping arrangement than the air mattress?
Columbia Country Club is so special to me. And I think it was the night before the finals, or it started as soon as I made the cut. They were all super pumped about the playoff. And I texted my boss, who's in charge of like managing everyone working, Ryan Byers. And I was like, hey, like, I'll let you know when I get eliminated. I'll let you know when I can work again. Cause I love working. It's such a good distraction for me, and representing and working at Columbia Country Club means a lot to me. So I enjoy it. And he's like, yeah, like, don't worry about, like, I hope you're there all week. Like, we'll take care of it, whatever. So after every single match, I was like, yeah, don't worry. When I get eliminated, I'll let you know when I'm headed home. And then it was going into the final match, after the semifinals. He texted me. It's like, hey, good luck tomorrow. I'm so proud of you, whatever. I'm like, thank you. Like, more than likely I'll be home. I'll drive back as soon as the match is over, like, and I can work on Tuesday if you need me. He's like, you can work Tuesday. And I'm like, yes. He's like, oh my gosh, that'd be so clutch. Like, we don't have anyone able to work Tuesday. Like, are you sure you don't mind? I'm like, yeah, no, like, no worries. And I didn't know at the time that I would win. And then I would have to get vaccinated and have a 15-hour drive. So Monday we drove back, had to get vaccinated. And then Tuesday I woke up and went to work with being extremely tired from the vaccine and all the symptoms with that. But Columbia Country Club, I mean, I had no problem working for them. They take great care of me, and it's just a great place to work. So it wasn't a big deal, but it was funny. The other question was the air mattress. So I went up there with my caddy, and so they're just friends of mine. They live in Charleston on Daniel Island, and they take great care of me. So he went up with me, and then one of my friends from Columbia, who I lived with last summer, she also went, Haley Miller. And Haley and I stayed in a hotel the first 2 days of the stroke play, and then she was catching a flight home. Well, she ended up missing her flight, so she stayed an extra night, and we got the hotel at a different place for the third night in a row. Then she went home, and then I had nowhere to stay. So we stayed at their family, Tom and Jody, people in Charleston, their friend's house in Greenwich, Connecticut. It was a great house. I mean, she had 3 kids, and there was room. But I mean, the room was like just air mattresses, which at the time I was like, you know, bed's a bed. Like, I'm just glad I'm not alone in a hotel or anything. So I was super grateful. And I slept pretty good minus the pillow. So I slept on that air mattress 2 nights because we didn't know how long we'd be there. And then finally, I got booted to the twin bed for 2 nights, the last 2 nights of the tournament. And they took great care of me. And I mean, at the end of the day, a bed's a bed as long as you sleep.
Thanks.
Rick Henry, will go to you, and then John Long after that.
Hey, Jensen, congratulations on such a great accomplishment. I just want to know the fact that you didn't pack enough clothes for the tournament. At what point did you start believing that, you know what, I can win this thing?
Probably after the Rachel Heck match, that 19th hole. After that match, I was like, all right, like, I'm here for it. I mean, I'm obviously just qualified for the final match, and whatever happens tomorrow. But the golf that I'm playing, like Rachel and Heck's match and we were like 6 or 7 under. Like, we played some solid golf. So after that match, I'm like, all right, greens and fairways, like, you're playing solid golf, and continue to focus on what you have all week, and it could possibly work out. The whole situation with the clothes is obviously I had my rib injury, and I mean, I hadn't touched a club for 2 to 3 weeks before. So I was like, there is no way that I'm going to make it in a match play. Just no way. And then I ended up scooting in on that last playoff hole. And surely I was like, okay, like I packed 2 practice round outfits, 2 stroke plays, and like 1 match play. And then I wore down an outfit from Charleston for that day that for travel, I wore a golf outfit. So I was able to mix and match after that. And I mean, I had no expectations of making it that far, so I didn't prepare for that.
John Wong, we'll go to you.
Hey, Jensen, congratulations. I mean, you talk about going in there with no expectations. Now you come back this year at the University of Kentucky with huge expectations. I mean, you guys are going to have a hell of a team this year. Can you talk a little bit about your teammates and what you might expect? What might we expect this year?
I wouldn't say we have any expectations this year. We're going to continue to be together. And like I've said many times, like our team is so special. We have 2 internationals, and then we have 2 internationals, and the rest are all Americans. And just the team dynamic, it's just crazy good. There's no drama. Like we all get along great. We're best of friends. We all love to see each other succeed. Like Marissa winning the Western 2 weeks ago, like we were all so excited for her. And then me winning the AM, like everyone, there's no like jealousy. Like everyone's so excited genuinely for us. I'm not going to say we're going to have any expectations. We're still going to focus on the same thing we have, just 1 tournament at a time. If you make it as far as we did last year, it'd be awesome. But the more expectations you have in golf, the harder it is to play well. So we're going to continue to do and focus on what we have, the little things, practicing together and competitions and just making each other better. And as long as we continue to make each other better, like then we'll be successful.
Yeah, just one real quick follow-up on Rick's question, if I may. When you talk about your mindset maybe changing to, hey, I can win this thing, what about that shot, I think it was on 11, where you got that lucky bounce off to the left? What was going through your mind then when you saw that?
So my mindset in golf, I think everything evens out. So you're going to get bounces like that in golf. You're also going to get terrible bounces and breaks. On one of my matches, it was 17 with Sophie Linder. I was 1 up, and I didn't hit the best shot, but I hit it a little short, and it was embedded or plugged into the lip of the bunker on 17. And I mean, the pictures and video of it was crazy. Like I literally was just hoping I could get it out. And that, like, for example, that break is terrible, but you're going to get good and bad breaks in golf, and that's just how you like handle it. And I mean, putts drop and they don't drop. And at the end of the day, it's all going to even out. So that break didn't surprise me because, you know, then on the next hole, for example, on 12, I hit a great approach shot and it rolled up all the way to the hill, and then it caught the false front and rolled all the way back. I mean, that shouldn't have happened, and neither should 11. I should have been in the bunker. But like I said, it all evens out.
And folks, real quick, I'll interject. If you do that shot that she's referring to on 17, if you go on our Kentucky Women's Golf channels, it's pretty impressive. Jensen can hardly stand up. I would encourage you to see it. Well, next we'll go to Chandler Mack. Go ahead, Chandler.
Hey, Jensen. First off, congrats on the win. Just talk to us about coming from West Columbia, South Carolina. How does it feel to make history by being the first UK golfer to win the tournament? And what was the first emotion that went through your mind when you got the win?
It's still not real to me. I mean, you can call me all these names and I'm a champion, and it's just not real. I mean, it's been a dream. To make history as first UK, it's UK golfer, it's awesome. I mean, I'm sure I'm not going to be the last, but just to represent Kentucky and be the second golfer of South Carolina means a lot. I mean, South Carolina is home for me, and just to make South Carolina proud and Kentucky, I mean, it's a special feeling.
All right, Larry, I'm going to circle back to you, and then Rick, you'll have after that.
Jensen, I remember talking to you when you got ready to go to the U.S. Open about how you thought that would be a really good experience for you. So how much do you think the US Open experience maybe helped you in the amateur, if at all? And was it hard to turn down a chance then to play in the British Open?
Yes. The Olympic, I think, prepared me a lot just because of the treatment at that event. Compared the treatment there, I mean, you're a professional, like they treat everyone so special, and I mean, everyone's roped off, and there were so many people watching, and I think the crowds a lot prepared me for the AM because there were so many people at the AM. I mean, it's not that I get nervous, like I love people watching and I love talking to the crowd and everything, but it was just so cool to see how natural and like stress-free it was for me to be in that situation. And like I do give credit to Olympic and the US Women's Open for that. Getting into the British and knowing that I could play in that and having to turn that down was really hard for me, just because that's such a big event. And I mean, it's such a fast turnaround. Like I would need to be traveling today, or if not, already be there to play in the British this weekend. And after as grueling of a tournament that Women's Am was, I mean, 158 holes later, I mean, my rib hurts. I have such bad blisters. I just don't think it would have been smart for my career to have went out into the British and then played in the Curtis Cup. But it was an extremely hard decision. And at the end of the day, I mean, I don't regret it. I just have to do what's best for me and my mental state.
How bad were those blisters?
Well, I can tell you that last night I went on a 3-mile walk, and I mean, I don't think I can wear tennis shoes for a while. And that's the only shoe I wear is tennis shoes. So I'm supposed to go hiking today, and I'll see how that goes. But tennis shoes just does not look ideal.
All right, Rip, we'll go to you.
Jensen, I was just thinking, after overcoming all that you had to win that tournament, the rib injury, a couple of different hotels, sleep on an air mattress. What is your confidence level? Do you have a mindset now that I can win any tournament at any level for the rest of my life now?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, I'm not invincible by any means. It was just a tournament, and I've played well when I needed to play well. I mean, every tournament you're going to have good and bad rounds. I mean, the first round I started with 79. I mean, that's terrible. But going forward, I mean, I'll continue to do what I have to get into the AM and to play as well as I did at the AM. And like I said, like you're going to have good and bad rounds. It's golf, it's life. But I'm excited to see the opportunities I've been given, because I definitely would have never been given those opportunities if it wasn't for the AM.
One more question, if I may. What are your favorite courses to play here in the Columbia area, especially maybe the ones where you really sharpen your game?
I actually have a ton of golf courses I like in Columbia. Obviously, Columbia Country Club's layout and the people there are awesome. I would definitely recommend there. I like Cobblestone's layout and Mid Carolina. I like Mid Carolina's layout. They have a great golf course there. So definitely those 3 courses probably in the Columbia area. I've never played Forest Lake, so I wouldn't know. But I mean, Columbia has a ton of great golf courses, but those 3 are probably my favorite.
Thank you.
John Wong, coming back to you.
Jensen, so much has been made about the athlete's mental health this past year, and golf is such a mental game. So what did you learn about yourself and your emotional health that maybe will help you moving forward in the year ahead?
So definitely before the week even started, I have never considered myself a good match play player, like ever. So actually seeing myself make it that far in that many matches was very shocking to me. Golf is such a mental game, and it's like it's like how you go about things in golf that is what makes you a good player. I noticed a few times, it was actually my first match I played. I mean, golf, you have to be so even, like you can't show a lot of emotion. You can't get excited. You can't get sad or frustrated. And I mean, you live and you learn. Like the first match I played against Kennedy, she was the number 2 seed. I was 2 up through like 6, and I chose the wrong club on 6, or through 2 up through 5. I chose the wrong club on 6, put me in a bunker, terrible lie in the bunker. I mean, I basically was over on that hole. Like I lost it. going into the next hole, I was extremely frustrated with my poor decision making on 6 and how I handled it and what I do on 7. I lost 7-2 because I was so worried about the last hole. And I mean, obviously going in 8, I'm like, all right, Jensen, like, why are you worried about these last holes? There's nothing you can do now that can change it. Like, you need to go forward and focus on the next upcoming holes. But golf, I mean, you can't worry about the past. You can't worry about the morning match. You can't worry about other holes. You just need to make sure you're focused on the shot at the time. And that's the only shot that matters. And so I think myself after this week, I have a lot stronger of a mindset in the middle part of my game than I ever thought I had. And a lot of my teammates, when I first got to Kentucky, like told me that. They're like, Jensen, your mental game is like so good. And I'm like, what? Mine? Like, no. So I've just never heard of that. And especially after this week and how grueling of a week it was and long, that my mental game is a lot stronger than I thought it was. And I'll continue to use that going into other tournaments.
You mentioned that you enjoy walking. What else do you like to do to relax in your free time, if you do have any free time?
Like I said, I enjoy working. I enjoy working. I enjoy any type of exercise. I started this goal this year in January of getting 10,000 steps every single day. So this whole summer, like I go on like 3 to 6 mile walks with my friends or just hang out. I love being outside. I just love being busy. Like I like reading. As long as I'm busy, like I'm good. It doesn't matter what I'm doing.
Okay, thanks.
Larry, coming back to you, and as a reminder, anybody else, if you got any questions, use that raise hands feature.
Jensen, could you just tell us a little bit about your caddy, the relationship there, and what role, if any, he kind of played in helping you during the amateur?
So it was actually a few years ago. There was a Big Eye, Trusted Choice Big Eye, and the tournament, and it was in Charleston and Daniel Island Golf Club. And I stayed in a host family because I didn't have anywhere to stay. And him and his wife were my host family. They had 3 kids of me and 2 other girls that played in the tournament. And ever since then, like I stayed in touch. It's Jody and Tom Moylan. They own 2 bridal shops down on Daniel Island. And my coach, Ricky Sullivan's out of Charleston at Bulls Bay. So what I would do is I'd go down there to Charleston, get a lesson, and then I would just stay the night with them. It's just them 2, and I would just hang out with them and just cherish their time. And over the past 2-3 years, our relationship or friendship is accumulated. And I mean, we do anything for each other. They came and watched me at the PGA Junior Girls 3 years ago. They came to Puerto Rico for one of our golf tournaments in my freshman year. And when they can't, I mean, they love traveling, so they travel as much as they can to see me. But of course, they work. And so when I told them my original plan for the AM was I was going to drive up there by myself, I talked about getting an Airbnb with my teammates because I didn't have anyone going with me. So I was like, I need to stay somewhere in New York with someone, and I didn't know anyone. So eventually my teammates were like, Jensen, like, I don't think it makes any sense to do an Airbnb. Like we're not going to be there all week. And why would we want to pay for the whole week if we're not going to be there? And I'm like, oh, you're right. So I told Tom and Jody about it because they were asking me about my next tournament or whatever. And they were like, no, like you don't need to drive 15 hours by yourself in a car with a 2000 Toyota 4Runner. I mean, like it's already old anyways. And so they talked me into flying, and they're like, we'll go with you. Like, we'll take care of it. And so Tom and I flew up. We're in Boston the week prior for 3 days. I went to Boston 3 weeks prior and went to a baseball game, the Yankees and Red Sox baseball game. And so they drove up there and to Boston and see their family and everything. And then they flew out of New York and left their car up there and flew back to Charleston. So then I drove down to Charleston and then flew up with Tom to the tournament. And it was just him and I. And like I was going to caddy for myself. I already rented a push cart and everything. And he picked up my bag on the practice round. And my rib was actually really hurting me beginning of the week because I had just started swinging and everything. He's like, do you mean to carry your bag, Danae? And I'm like, yeah, like that's fine. I think it'd be easier for you to carry than for me to push. And so he ended up carrying the practice round. He didn't do anything, just kept up, stayed up, shut up, didn't really do anything, just held the bag. And I mean, we had fun and that was it. And then after seeing the front 9, I was like, oh my God, like this is hilly. Like there is no way I'm going to be able to get a push cart up these hills by myself. Like I'm going to wear myself out. So I didn't say anything to him. Second day, you know, he automatically picked up the bag. I'm like, okay. So he carried it the back 9. And then I was like, hey, like if you want, you can caddy this week. I mean, it's not a big deal. Like, I mean, you're not really helping me. Like all you're doing is carrying the bag and get the clubs for me when I tell you I need one. He's like, yeah, like no worries, as long as you don't mind, like I'll stay on your way. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So his wife flew up for the first round, and then she came for the first round, second round, and then match play, and then she flew out. And then Haley Miller, one of my friends from Columbia that I lived with last summer, she flew up for the first round and second round, missed her flight the night of the second round, so she stayed third, then flew back. And then my godfather, Troy Thrall, the superintendent at Indian River, he drove up for the first round, second round, the first round of the 64, and I think half of the round of the 32. And then he drove back to Indian River. And then I've actually made it to the finals. So everyone that everyone that left, like Jody and Haley, they flew back for the final round. And Troy unfortunately couldn't with Indian River, but that's Tom's connection, and he caddied all week. He was great, very relaxed. Like he calmed me down, especially that whole incident with the bunker on 7 or 6 that I was worried about, and traveled into 7 and messed me up. He's like, Jensen, like that was 2 holes ago. Like, why are you still worried about it? Like, move on. It is what it is. And he emphasized having fun. Like that's the only thing that mattered to him, was if I was having fun. And he kept reiterating that to me the whole round. He's like, Jensen, are you having fun? Like, make sure you smile. Like, you need to smile. This is a great opportunity. There's so many people out here. Like, it's fun to be here, and I'm having a great time. Like, so should you. And so it was very relaxing to have him on my bag and for him to calm me down like that.
But you didn't seem to smile in abundance that we got to see during the tournament anyway. I mean, maybe you were off camera, but you kept it kind of pretty straight game face there.
I smiled more than you guys think I did. I mean, I haven't watched the reruns, or I haven't seen any of the coverage at all. So I don't know how much I smiled or not. But the only time I'm not smiling is over the ball. And obviously the whole tournament I was over the ball at some point. So you're right. I probably didn't smile a lot, but I swear I'm friendly.
John, we'll go back to you. And if there's no other questions, we'll end it there. Okay.
Jensen, I didn't know if you were superstitious or not. I mean, you looked awfully good wearing that UK blue out there. And I don't know if you'll go back and watch any of the coverage, but is there any reason for you to ever change your wardrobe again?
No, I'm not superstitious at all. I did play the same ball for the last 5 matches, but that was not on purpose. I'm not superstitious. Kentucky just gives me so many clothes, and I'm so happy and proud to represent them. So I just wear them. I mean, like, they give me so many clothes, and they're brand new Nike clothes, and I wear them. So I don't see myself really changing it unless I get new clothes or something, but unless someone gives me new clothes. But no, Kentucky makes me happy, and I'm happy to represent them.
All right, guys, I think we'll end it there. I really want to thank Jensen for